Good morning, everyone. My name is Tammy Sadler-Jones. I'm the City Administrator, and I'd like to call to order the License and Variance Board meeting on Wednesday, September 12, 2018 at 10 o'clock a.m. Board members present to my left is Roy Acree, the Fire Chief, and to his left is Eric Randall, the City Engineer. Elsa Thompson is our Administrative Services Coordinator, and she will be taking the official meeting minutes. First item is a public hearing, privilege license request LIC 2018-14, beer and wine package, 4480 South Cobb Drive, Publix Supermarkets Incorporated, DBA Publix Supermarket 0753 with James Scott Hirsch as the agent. Can you step to the podium, please? And for the record, can you state your name?
James Scott Hirsch.
Okay. Mr. Hirsch, have you received a copy of the city's alcohol beverage ordinance?
Yes, ma'am.
And have you read it, and do you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you agree to abide by the ordinance?
Yes,
and you've completed the responsible alcohol sales class?
yes, ma'am.
Okay. And can you tell this board what steps you have in place to make sure the employees at your store, do not sell alcohol to underage persons?
One, we have computer-based training that all cashiers are required to attend before they run a register, and then yearly they go through that training one more time. And then monthly, we have sister stores in the area that come and do checks to make sure that we're following the proper procedures. And within the city of Smyrna, we have to check everyone's ID, so it's very easy to make sure that they're following, because everyone's ID has to be checked.
Okay. Any questions for the applicant?
Just a couple. Mr. Hirsch, just a housekeeping thing. At the base of the microphone, is the little green LED light on?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
We'll just
Yeah.
pull the mic up. Yeah.
Are you or have you ever been the registered agent of a facility before?
I have not, no.
Okay. And I know that you just kind of touched on some corporate practices and policies with regard to the responsible sale of alcohol. Is there, at your point of sale at all the registers, is there a requirement for the entrance of a date of birth?
Yes, there is.
For alcohol sales?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
And Mr. Hirsch, what's your personal experience with alcohol sales?
I've been a store manager for Publix for 17 years.
Okay.
I've worked for Publix for 30 years. I've stocked groceries, I've stocked beer, I've stocked wine.
You've checked an ID or two in your time.
I've checked a few, yeah. I've run register for years, and I have done it. I've never had a license before, but I've been in Cobb County as a store manager for 17 years.
And you said you've been with Publix for 30 years?
30 years.
Yes. Congratulations. What, did you start when you were 12?
I was started when I was 16.
Just kidding.
I was a bagger.
And what are your hours? What schedule do you work?
I work various hours. Some days I work till closing. Some days I work opening. I don't work 7 days a week, but I mean, there's a possibility that I'm there Saturday, Sunday. Just kind of varies my days off.
Okay. And do you understand that from time to time the Smyrna Police Department does undercover inquiries, and if anyone does sell alcohol to underage persons, that they'll be taken to jail immediately?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? All right. This is a public hearing. If anyone has any comments they'd like to make regarding this agenda item, if you please step forward at this time. All right. I would like to say a background investigation was done by the Smyrna Police Department, and it revealed no information that would preclude issuance of this particular license. So with that said, I'd like to entertain a motion, please.
I make a motion for privilege license request LIC 2018-14, beer and wine package at 4480 South Cobb Drive, Publix Supermarkets Incorporated, DBA Publix Supermarket 0753, with James Scott Hirsch as agent. That motion to approve the request for privilege license.
Second motion to approve.
Motioned and properly second that we approve privilege license variance request VLIC, 2018-14. All in favor, please vote. Okay, motion passes unanimously. Thank you so much.
Can I leave? Or?
Yes, you can.
Thank you.
Next item is a public hearing, variance request V18-060, allow front setback reduction from 35 feet to 22 feet for in addition to a single-family residence, land lot 384, 0.32 acres, 621 Highview Drive, Jacob and Laura Tilton. Can you step to the podium, please? And for the record, can you state your name?
I'm Laura Tilton. This is my father, Robert Beasley.
Okay, all right. And Ms. Tilton, can you tell us about your variance request?
So basically, we're just wanting to do an addition to the front of our house to make it a 2-bedroom to a 3-bedroom and adding a bathroom as well. And we're encroaching on the city limits, so we're just filling out our application and hoping to get approved.
Any questions for the applicant?
Not at this time.
Okay. At this point, we're going to have our staff make comments, and then we may have other questions for you, too. So you can have a seat on the front row. Joey Stobbs with Community Development.
Good morning, Joey Stobbs, Planner 2, Community Development. This is a variance request at 621 Highview Drive for front setback reduction from 35 feet to 22 feet for its addition to a single-family home. It's approximately 416 square feet addition, which will be a second bedroom and bathroom. And due to the orientation of the existing house, it sits catty corner it's a corner lot and it sits catty corner. So the front of the house faces the corner, the intersection. So it doesn't fit neatly in the building setback boundaries. So we've analyzed the request, have heard no complaints from adjacent properties. We've recommended approval with one condition, that approval of the requested variance shall be conditioned upon the development of the property in substantial compliance with the site plan submitted with the variance application.
Any questions for the staff?
Just for clarification, Joey, so I'm looking at the site plan now, and it looks like there's, you could argue we have a lot of these, it's almost 2 front roads, right? That's the way it looks to me. You've got a Highview Drive, and the house sits on the corner of Cherrydale. So if I'm standing on that corner of Highview and Cherrydale looking at the existing house, the proposed addition that spurs this setback request would be to the right side, is that correct?
Correct. Adjacent to Cherrydale.
On the site plan, the Highview Drive setback is 25, but on the Cherrydale side, it's 35, is that right?
Correct.
So that's why we're contemplating the 35 to 22. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Make sure. Also, were there conditions in this?
Just the standard condition that it's conditioned on the site plan submitted.
Okay. That's all I had.
And kind of more housekeeping rather than pertinent to this direction. It appears from the site plan that there's already an existing encroachment to the rear setback as well as to the setback on Highview. So existing non-conforming.
Correct.
Is there any merit in memorializing that, of saying, hey, this is all part of that? Or are we just looking at the addition?
We're just looking at the addition.
Okay.
Any other
I
questions?
don't have any further questions.
Okay, all right. And for the applicant, do you accept the one condition as stated?
Yes.
Okay.
Is that it?
This is a public hearing. If anyone would like to speak regarding this issue, I ask that you please step to the podium at this time. Seeing no one, I'd like to entertain a motion, please.
A motion to approve variance request V18-060 to allow front setback reduction from 35 to 22 feet for an addition to a single-family residence, land lot 384, 0.32 acres, located at 621 Highview Drive, for Jacob and Laura Tilton as the applicant, with the one condition as read into the record by staff.
I second the motion.
It's been motioned and properly second that we approve variance request V180660. All in favor, please vote. All right, motion passes unanimously. Thank you so much. Next item is a public hearing, variance request V18061, allow 6-foot wooden privacy fence in front yard on corner lot, land lot 560, 0.30 acres, 1450 Walker Street, Matt and Elizabeth Ivy.
It's Melissa Ivy.
Okay.
My wife's Melissa, but yeah, I'm Matthew Ivy.
Okay, all right. And can you tell us about your variance request?
Yeah, so currently we have a chain link fence on 3 sides of our property, and there's a road on 3 sides. So I understand there's a setback and a limited height. So we're hoping to replace that chain link fence in the existing location with a wood privacy fence that's going to be 6 feet high.
Okay. Any questions for the applicant?
What's been the reaction from your neighbors?
No one seemed to come to us with any complaints or anything yet. So I would assume most people, our chain link fence is pretty old and rusty. I'm assuming they wouldn't have any problems with it, but no one said anything to us about it.
Hey, I like chain link fence, especially when it's old and rusty. Thank you.
All right. At this time, we'll have Joey Stobbs from Community Development make comments, please.
It's requested variance at 1450 Walker Street to allow a 6-foot wooden privacy fence in the front yard on a corner lot. This, as was mentioned, it's bounded on 3 sides by roads. The front is Walker, and then the side and the rear is Morris Circle. So they're looking to replace an existing chain link fence with a 6-foot wooden privacy fence in the same location. We've analyzed the request, have heard no complaints from adjacent properties, and have recommended approval with no conditions.
Okay. Any questions for the staff?
Joey, with its 6-foot height of the fence, has there been any discussion about a potential sight distance issue at that corner?
Briefly discussed, but no determination.
Okay. And I'm also looking at the aerial and seeing there's a storm drain in that area. Do you know offhand, does the storm drain run? It can't be on both sides. Sorry, I'm thinking out loud a little bit. Mr. Ivy, for your reference, I'm also the city engineer, if you hadn't picked that up. So I'm looking at those 2 issues. Mr. Ivy, could you step back up to the microphone? Is it reasonable for me to request, say, 1 or 2 sections back from that inside corner to kind of cut that corner off with a fence? Currently, with a 3-foot tall chain link, people can see through that.
Sure.
But now if you're putting a 6-foot fence up, somebody coming down from Walker down Morris Circle, as they're going to go around,
Right.
they're kind of peeking around a wall.
Right.
And I know that everybody on Morris Circle strictly adheres to the speed limit. But just that kind of a thing, I want to give those drivers enough time to anticipate any potential obstacle.
Okay, so are you proposing to kind of cut the corner?
Exactly. Cut the
And
corner.
how far back from?
I think 10 feet would do it.
Okay, so from the corner, let's say like the storm drain, from
Yeah.
10 feet back from there.
Yeah, 10 feet back either side. Just
Okay.
take the corner, cut it off about 10
Sure.
foot back.
Okay, yep.
And are there any proposed gates or other access to the backyard?
Yeah, so there's going to be like a walking gate on the front side.
Okay.
And there is right now like a 10-foot drive-through gate so if you're looking at the aerial picture on the right side, that we're going to try to keep still there.
Okay.
Other than that, that's it.
I'm good with both of those design provisions. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. This is a public hearing. If anyone has any other comments about this issue, please step to the podium at this time. Seeing no one, I'd like to entertain a motion, please.
I make a motion for variance request. I make a motion to approve variance request V18-61 to allow 6-foot wooden privacy fence in the front yard on the corner lot of land lot 560, 0.3 acres, 1450 Walker Street, Matt and Melissa Ivy, with the stipulations for the chamfer as noted.
Second.
It's been motioned and properly second that we approve variance request V18061. All in favor, please vote. All right, motion passes unanimously. Thank you so much.
Just a quick housekeeping item. Do I get like an email then with all the approval and stuff?
Yes,
That'll come, okay.
our staff, Joey, will get that to you.
Thank you.
Okay, no problem. Next item is a public hearing, variance request V18062, allows second kitchen in existing dwelling unit, land lot 303, 0.15 acres, 469 Crimson Maple Way. Ashley and Johnny Harrison is the applicant. You must be Miss Harris? Harrison, pardon me. And for the record, can you state your name?
I'm Ashley Harrison.
Okay, and can you tell us about your variance request, please?
Yes. So we're finishing out our basement and are looking to put a second full kitchen in the basement. So it'll have a bedroom, full bath, kitchen, living room, and like a little theater room. And I mentioned it in the application that my parents, my dad is retired, my mom is in education, and so they have summers off, and so they live in Arizona. So when they come to visit, it's for extended periods. So we wanted kind of a retreat for them,
Okay.
and have our own space as well. So, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if that's enough information.
Any questions for the applicant?
Ms. Harrison, hey, good morning.
Hi,
How are
good
you?
morning.
So I think that we're going to have just a couple of questions
Okay.
about this variance request to allow the second kitchen. It's not because we're against it,
Yeah.
necessarily. It's just that the city of Smyrna and a lot of different municipalities are pretty strict and stringent on second kitchens in single-family detached residence.
Okay.
Because in the future, future homeowners could use it as an opportunity to have a rental space and, those types of things. So you had mentioned that your, extended stay, over the, and also I've seen the site plan, I've seen the aerial overview, and it appears as though there would be no opportunity because of where your house is and how it's located in the subdivision. There's no opportunity for the future for there to be a second separate driveway
No.
around to the back, anything like that. And it looks to me also that, and help me see if this is right, that really the only way in and out of this proposed finishing of the basement would be through the existing living space. Is that right?
Potentially, you could walk down the back, go to the backyard, and come in. I mean, that would be.
Right, there is one
It's like the
exterior
back-
door down
there.
there.
I mean,
that
there's
goes
like
out.
the fence, and then there's an exterior door.
But primarily, to get in and out of this space, you would have to go through your existing living space.
Potentially, but again, I mean, because the basement empties out to the backyard. There is an exterior door there. I don't know if that's answering your question, but.
I guess for a practical aspect, if this were done and your folks were in for the extended stay
Oh,
over
they would
the
come
summer
in the front door. I mean,
and out
yeah.
through the front door.
Right.
Right. Okay. So you don't. I'm assuming you don't have any plans when they're not there to utilize, various different companies to
No.
rent the space out to temporary tenants or anything like that.
We had talked about, I think it's called Airbnb, but that if that's a deal breaker, then that's fine with us. That's not this is what we want to do it for. It was sort of like in the off season, if that's make it an option, but if it's not an option, we won't do that. So
Yeah, that wouldn't, as a matter of fact, I'm sure in just a minute you'll hear staff come up, but part of the conditions is that the addition, if approved, is to be utilized only by family members.
only by family, and that's fine with
And the
us.
applicant shall not lease, rent, or sublet any space in their home.
Okay, and that's not a deal breaker. We want to do it either way for them. So
Okay. That's all I had right now.
Okay.
Thank you.
And have you had any conversations with the HOA about this? Do they have any input at all? Or
our next door neighbor actually has a full basement. Their parents live down there, so we had to get approval from our neighbors around us, and they were actually shocked that they had to have approval. They were like, "We don't care what you do." we haven't spoken with the HOA. As far as we know, we don't know that there's any issue, especially since they're finishing off basements with full kitchens. So it shouldn't be an issue, I guess is what I'm saying.
Did you just rat out your neighbors saying they're finishing off basements with full kitchens?
No. This is a brand new build. So when we built, they finished the basement with the builder.
Okay.
So they have a full kitchen, full living space.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's exactly as the top floor. It has, fireplace and kitchen and the whole kit and caboodle. So I hope I didn't just rat them. I mean, I assume that they got everything passed and everything. Like I said, it was with their builder. So
What address is it?
And so the surprise that you expressed, that you conveyed, that your neighbors said, if we didn't even know you had to go through that approval process,
Right.
is why we do this. Because there is, for lack of a better word, a concern about the increasing prevalence of Airbnb and VRBO type subletting.
Okay.
And it's becoming more of a concern for more communities.
Okay.
Do we have, I don't know that we have anything on the books specifically about it in our ordinance,
don't
but
think
that's one
so,
of those
no.
things that is on the radar of mayor and council, because what it does for communities and what it does to communities.
Just out of curiosity, what does it do? Because that's surprising to me that would be.
It tends to increase transiency in the areas, as I understand, and complete disclosure here, I'm just the engineer.
Right. Okay.
But when it becomes a rental facility,
yeah.
and you get more and more people coming in and out, that leads to more of a question of who is this in the neighborhood,
Okay.
and
Security.
insecurity,
Okay.
and particularly with someplace like Smyrna Grove, where there's already concerns about pedestrian traffic through the neighborhood. There's been
Right.
a request or a discussion come across of closing off the entrance on Benson Pool
Okay.
that we've been talking with the developer about at their request.
Yeah.
So there are some concerns about what's going on in the community, what's going on specifically in your neighborhood.
Okay.
And broader in the sense of, sounds like I'm lecturing and soapboxing here.
No, I asked you, so.
But in the broader sense of what does itinerant housing do to a community? What's the effect on it going to be? If your neighbor had people in and out consistently, and so there's new cars parked on the curb
Yeah.
every weekend,
Yeah.
and
I
you
see.
don't know who's going in and out,
Right. That makes sense.
magnify that times 20,000 households in a population of 55,000.
Right.
What does that do?
Okay.
So that's why that's the lens that the city is kind of looking at it through, and that's why we're looking at making sure things are in compliance.
Right.
So if your neighbor worked through the builder to have that finished out, was that before or after final inspections? Were they aware? That's something that should have been picked up during inspections by city
Yeah.
city
Council.
inspection staff,
Okay.
and they would have raised that, hey, this is a variance issue.
Okay.
So it may well have been done by the builder as part of it, but we'll be talking to staff afterwards saying, hey, what's going on with this?
Okay. Sorry. I hope I didn't
No, it's,
bust my neighbors.
that's,
I assume they jumped through all the proper hurdles, but I
as
mean,
well.
or
There's no
hoops,
reason
yeah.
to think they didn't.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
I don't have any further questions.
Okay, all right. Joey Stobbs, Community Development, please.
This is a variance request at 469 Crimson Maple Wave to allow a second kitchen in its existing dwelling unit. They're proposing to finish their basement, which will have a full kitchen, bathroom, bedroom, living area. As she mentioned, it's for extended visits from family. We did discuss when this was submitted about the issue of Airbnb, and that if we recommended approval, it would have conditions that it can't be rented, can only be occupied by family. A lot of these are existing requirements in our zoning ordinance that define single family, and the number of non-related people that can be in a dwelling unit, no more than 3 unrelated people. So it's not that we're just saying it on this one request. There's regulations in our zoning ordinance that dictate what can be done in a single-family structure. We've had similar requests in Heritage at Vinings, Enclave at Cooper Lake, Stonegate subdivisions, where it's a second kitchen in a existing structure, not an additional accessory structure or like a separate apartment unit. This could not be easily be converted into like a duplex because there is only one main entrance into the house, and I'm guessing building code requires an exterior exit from the basement that goes out to the rear patio, but that would not primarily be used for ingress egress. So we've recommended approval, have not heard any issues from surrounding properties. We've recommended approval with 3 conditions: that the addition is to be utilized by family members only, that the applicant shall not lease, rent, or sublet any space in their home, and these conditions shall run in perpetuity with the property and as such are also applicable to any future homeowner. The other house that was mentioned was not applied for variance, so I can only speculate that it was done and an inspector did not either see it or did not notify us.
Okay. Any questions for the staff?
I have none.
Okay. And for the applicant, can you step back up to the mic? Do you accept the 3 conditions as stated?
What were the 3? I knew one of
Okay.
not doing the.
Okay.
Sorry.
Utilized by family,
Yes.
can't be rented,
Right.
and it runs with any future sales of the property.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. If anyone has any other comments about this agenda item, please step to the podium at this time. And seeing no one, I'd like to entertain a motion, please.
Motion to approve variance request V18-062 to allow second kitchen in existing dwelling, land lot 303, 0.15 acres located at 469 Crimson Maple Way. Ashley and Johnny Harrison as the applicant with the 3 conditions as read into record by staff.
I second the motion.
It's been motioned and properly second that we approve variance request V18062. All in favor, please vote. All right, motion passes unanimously. Thank you so much. Next item is approval of the August 22nd, 2018 License and Variance Board meeting minutes.
I make a motion to approve the August 22nd, 2018 License and Variance Board meeting minutes.
Second.
It's been motioned and properly second that we approve the meeting minutes from August 22nd, 2018. All in favor, please vote. All right, motion passes unanimously. And before we end, I'd like to thank our city engineer for serving as an alternate on our License and Variance Board, and we wish you all the best in your new career opportunity.
Thank you kindly.
All right. At this time, the meeting is adjourned at 10:28 a.m. Thank you.